Welcome back to Turtle Talk Tuesday. So this is the second episode of a new series that I'm going to try to do every Tuesday for 2023, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Like I said in the first episode, I just like the idea of Tuesday being a day for Ninja Turtles and, new reveals that we often get from different companies, or just an opportunity to talk about it and think about this property that we love so much. So what I'm going to do in this video is I just want to do really quick, share my most recent pickups for probably the last week or so, and then also just give some of my thoughts about the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures in general. And then what I'm thinking about doing next week, this may change, but I think next week I'll do something similar, but talk about Super 7 like I'm going to talk about NECA in this video. So as far as pickups go, I'm going to start with some loose figures that I got on eBay, starting with the movie star Raphael figure. So this is one that I am adding to the Raphael collection. If you look at my past videos, you will see that I do have a, pretty substantial Raphael collection because he is my favorite turtle. And often what I do, if there are figures that are harder to get or more expensive or whatever, I will often just get the Raphael version. So for the movie star figures, I just feel like I don't need to get all four turtles with these. And I had a Raphael in my collection, but he was in really, really bad shape. So I saw this one on eBay, and he's in a lot better shape. So I picked this one up for a really good price. The next one, and I don't know if I'm going to get this name right, but I think this is Jumping Jitsu Attack Raphael, something like that. But basically for this one, you kind of push him down and then he does like this front flip. Can't really do it here because I, don't have it on a surface. But yeah, he is really cool. Really like this one. He's in pretty good shape. He has a couple little marks on him. But again, got a good deal for him on eBay. It was a different seller, a different day. Just about, I would say, every day, every other day, I'll go on eBay and just check out the new listings of TMNT vintage figures and just kind of see what's out there. And this is just a Raphael figure that I did not have in my collection. I had all of these as a kid, and I really loved these. Their little action features that they had. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like I need all four turtles, but if I'm ever at a toy show, or if I do see some of the others for a really, really good price, like $5 or something, then I may pick them up, because they're a pretty cool little set of figures. And then this one, so this one was kind of a weird one, because I honestly didn't know what this was when I saw it on eBay. I was just searching, I just usually search, vintage TMNT on eBay. I see what pops up, and this popped up. It was a Raphael. It was a Raphael I'd never really seen or heard of before. So this is the Metal Mutants Raphael. This is from 1995. So this would have been a couple years after I stopped, really collecting and following Ninja Turtles, because I stopped in pretty much 92, 93. And it's funny because I had no idea this was so tiny. So if I hold him up next to the movie star figure, which is the typical kind of size, he is a little guy. And I didn't know, because I never had this at all as a kid. I've never even seen this in person. But, and I know that he comes with like a ton of like super shiny armor, because I did some more research and everything online. And it's fine. I mean, obviously it's a Raphael figure. It's a more rare figure. He's actually in really good shape, you know, except for obviously missing his armor and stuff. But just, you know, he has his little sticker in the front, which a lot of times this is missing. And he doesn't have a lot of scratches or paint wear. And it was a pretty decent price. I mean, I wish I would have known he was so tiny, because I thought he was like maybe more like that size. But it's still pretty cool because it's a Raphael I never had before, and it's a unique piece for sure. So adding that to the Raphael collection, and he's pretty cool. He's pretty neat. All right, so going from a very tiny version of Raphael to a pretty big version, I found this at Target a couple days ago, and this one is interesting because when I saw these advertised, whatever, a week or two ago, you know, this was all the talk in the toy community, in the TMNT community, because a lot of us just didn't know how to feel about these. Now, I had all of the big guys, you know, the original ones from back in the day, and I loved those. They were really fun to play with because they were just so big and chunky. And, you know, when I saw these re-releases announced, I was kind of like, they look kind of off. They look kind of weird. They're not really doing it for me. So I was going to pass them up because it's like, I don't need those, and they just are going to take up a lot of room. So then I was at Target, typical toy hunting, looking around, and they literally only had this guy. They just had the one Raphael sitting on the shelf. They had none of the other turtles. They just had this guy. So I was like, you know what? It's Raphael. It's my favorite turtle. I do tend to collect just random Raphael stuff in general. So why not? So I picked him up. So I will definitely, I 100% promise, I will not be getting the other ones. Maybe if they go on clearance for like $5 each or something, but that's about it. I definitely don't need all 4 turtles. But you know what? It's not bad. It really is not too bad. I'm probably going to leave him in here because I do kind of like how he looks in the retro packaging kind of deal. I just don't feel the need to take him out. I'm just going to leave him displayed in the packaging. But, you know, he's not bad. You know, my recommendation would be, you know, if you never had these as a kid and you really wanted them, sure, get them. Or maybe wait for them to go on sale or on clearance. It is really strange that Michelangelo is a Walmart exclusive, and the other 3, I think you can get them pretty much anywhere, so that's odd. I mean, it's just totally like a, you know, marketing ploy to get people into Walmart stores, but, yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where I just don't think that this is really a necessary kind of thing. Because I don't think the large size turtles back in the day were that hard to find. And I mean, I guess they go for a decent price on eBay, but they're not impossible to find. It's just that the original belts would kind of rip and tear and kind of fray and fall apart. So it is really hard to find them with their belts and their weapons. So what I've been hearing about is a lot of people have been getting these kind of just for the belts, to put the belts on the vintage ones. And I kind of understand that, but kind of expensive to spend $100 on just, you know, getting the belts and maybe the weapons. But for me, this is totally worth it because it's just going to go with all the other Raphael stuff that I have, and I'm going to enjoy it for sure. And my final pickup is this figure, which will take me into my other topic for this video. So this is the unarmored Last Ronin figure from NECA. And there he is. And, you know, it's one of those things where I was not going to get this figure at all. And I still, if you can't tell, I still haven't decided if I'm going to leave it in the box or take him out. I do kind of want to take him out and pose him because I do like the weapons and little mouser and everything that he comes with. But at the same time, I kind of like how he looks in the box. What I might do is I might just hold off until some of those other Last Ronin figures come out, because now I'm thinking about maybe getting all of them, because those other Last Ronin NECA figures look pretty cool. I especially like the Raphael and the Splinter. And then it's like, all right, well, if I have this and if I get the Raphael and Splinter, I'm going to kind of want all of them. But this one has a funny story, and I'm curious about how many of you do this. So I saw this at Target. It was the only one they had, okay? Now, I have passed up the armored version on quite a number of occasions. I've seen the armored version a lot. And, you know, I just kind of, I wasn't feeling it. I did like the story. It was a little bit more kind of grim and gritty for me. I do tend to prefer my turtles on the more lighthearted side. But I totally understand what they were doing with the story, and I thought the story, for what it was very, very well done. But, you know, I saw the armored version a bunch of times, and I was kind of like, you know, it looks cool, but it's just not something I feel like I need. But then when I saw this unarmored version and I took a look at the figure, I was like, well, that looks kind of neat. I kind of like the unarmored version a little better. I don't know why. I just think it looks neat with like the, you know, the turtle shell part showing. I don't know if I get more, you know, vintage vibes from it because he's, you know, doesn't have a shirt on or whatever. I just liked this one better. And as a toy collector, there's something about when you see the only one on a shelf. And that's what I'm curious about, is how many of you, when you see a figure, you know, on the shelf or on the peg, and it's the only one they have, and it's a figure where you're kind of like, well, I sort of want it, I'm not dying to have it, but it's the only one. Do you buy it? Because I do that quite a bit. It's like, I'm not dying to have this figure, but it's the only one. It's literally the only one they have. What if I never ever see this figure ever again? And if I decide that I really do want it later on and I can't find it, that's gonna really suck. So I'm curious, like, how many of you do that as well. So speaking of NECA, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about my thoughts in general about the NECA TMNT figures, and I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Because I will say, when it first started with the cartoon line, I was very on the fence, and I really was not sure. I got the San Diego Comic-Con box set, so the original cartoon turtles that came out several years ago, and I left those in the box. I just figured, you know what, this is a Comic-Con exclusive, they look real nice in that box set, and I just left them in the packaging, and they stayed there for a couple years. And then when they started releasing more and more cartoon characters, I was like, well, these figures look pretty cool, you know, let me check these out. And when I got Leatherhead and Slash, I actually found somebody, I think through Facebook, that had them for sale because they were super, super impossible to find at first. And I spent, you know, more than I really wanted to on them. And right out of the packaging, Slash was like breaking left and right. One of the pegs on Leatherhead's belt broke. And I was really upset. I was angry. I was like, you know, I spent all this money on these figures and I spent all this time tracking it down, and they're like breaking right out of the package. Like, they're just, pieces are snapping right off. So, you know, I had some pretty strong thoughts and opinion, and was not happy, as you can imagine. So, at first, I was just kind of like ready to be done. And then I just feel like the quality really improved, you know, the availability really improved, and they just really, really turned things around. You know, so much so that I decided to go ahead and open my San Diego Comic-Con box set. So I did get the Turtles out, put them on display, because I think that they are perfectly fine and good. I didn't really want to have to spend money on another 4-pack of the Turtles. I did like the, you know, the brighter green Turtles, but I just thought I already have the original ones. They're a little darker, but they're fine. You know, I don't really want to have to buy another set of the four turtles just to have another set on display. So yeah, and now the figures are great. So I'm very, very happy with the cartoon NECA line. I'm really excited about the Archie Comics Mutanimals coming out. I really loved those TMNT Archie comics back in the day. They're very nostalgic for me because there was a place where me and my dad would get our haircut, and across the street from there was like a little not a newsstand. It was kind of like a newsstand, and they would always have those TMNT Archie comics like on the rack. So, you know, I would go get my haircut first, and then when it was my dad's turn, I would go over there and like look through the comic books and, you know, hopefully get one or two of them. I wish I still had those, but it was just one of those things as a little kid. I wouldn't even really read them. I would just kind of look at the pictures and just kind of thumb my way through them, and then just kind of wherever they would end up is wherever they would end up. But just that holds a lot of memories for me. So really excited about getting, you know, the Archie Comics versions of those characters, you know, especially characters we never ever had in the vintage toy line. So that's going to be awesome. You know, the Toka and Razar 2-pack, the cartoon versions were, you know, amazing. Loved those two characters in the movie and in the cartoon. So super thrilled to get, you know, both versions of them, the cartoon versions and the movie versions. Those are probably they're probably my two favorite villains in all of TMNT is Toka and Razar. So to get both versions and to get them so soon, just really, really fantastic. Just really hit the mark for me. Now, as far as like NECA cartoon stuff coming this year, there's not a whole lot left for me to be super, super excited about, because I know they're really doing a lot of deep dives. They're doing a lot of, you know, characters that were just kind of like, for, you know, like one appearance characters, one episode characters from the cartoon. I totally get that. I totally understand that. I think the Bugman looks pretty cool. I'll definitely try to pick that one up for sure. You know, but some of the other ones, even the, you know, Bebop and Rocksteady's gang, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit on the fence. Like, I think that would be kind of neat to get those. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't know. I've never been crazy about just the regular human characters. For me, across all the properties that I collect, I've always been about, you know, the you know, mutants or like the anthropomorphic animal type monstrous characters. Like, I've always liked that. You know, that's why I like just the turtles so much, because they're not people, you know, they're animals. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. You know, if anything, it's going to save me some money not wanting everything that NECA is going to be putting out this year. But I am super excited about the Archie Comics Mutanimals. Those are definitely top of my list for 2023 for NECA Turtles. And then, like I said, some of those Last Ronin figures look great. And I guess we'll see what else this year has in store for us for NECA TMNT figures. Please let me know what figures you're excited about from NECA. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.